Hey, today on the Will and Willis podcast, we'll take a look around the world in pro wrestling. And Will is back! Will has made it from the land of the injured, the IR. He's off the IR list. And also today we take an in-depth look at our impressions of the one and only Road Warriors. Unfortunately, the death of Joe Laurenitis. That's all right here and more on the Will and Willis Wrestling Podcast.
Spanning the globe for the latest information, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, and the behind-the-scenes story. In the world of pro wrestling, it's the Will and Willis Wrestling Podcast. And now, here are your hosts, Will and Willis.
And we're back. Will, it's good to see you. Neck brace and all, man. Or neck pad, whatever that thing is.
It's a traction thingy, so it stretches your neck out.
Yeah.
It's good to see me, too.
No, I'm serious. It was tough to do this without you. So what did you do for the last couple of weeks?
Well,
I hope you watched a little wrestling.
Yeah, I will watch a little bit of it. Oh, my kidding. I watched a lot of it. Disturbing. Some things that I put in the back of my head are now like coming to pass. But I didn't see the passing of Joe Laurenitis. That's what's like got me in like a real blah mood. Because
yeah, that was a tough one to swallow. I now that you think about the legendary Road Warriors are no longer with us, but hey, at least reunited in heaven. That's good. That's a good thing.
13 years in between
the whole thing. Yeah. So that's kind of a downer.
Kind of like when Dimebag from Pantera died on stage, and it took X amount of time for his brother Vinnie Paul to die because he basically died of a broken heart.
Yeah, from what I understand, Animal was in a pretty good place. He just, I don't know, man.
I heard the same, yeah.
Nature is weird, and autopsy reports had come back and said it was natural causes, so thank goodness it wasn't drugs or anything crazy like that. I'm just kind of happy,
because that would have put a blemish on their legacy.
Yeah, I feel for his wife, and isn't it funny the people, Hawk had got clean, and then all of a sudden he just ups and
kind of like Eddie Guerrero.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Eddie was great. No, he was a very down to earth person. When I heard he passed, it's kind of hitting me the same way. You put your best foot forward for recovery, and you're doing it, you're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden it's your time to go, and you've got so much more on your platter that, hey, you should have done it when you had the chance. That's how you got to look at it. I mean, I'm recovering myself since May 4th, 2014, and there's better days than others, but it's a uphill climb. I mean, you've got to want it for yourself. I don't know where I went with all that, but I understand the whole if it was an addiction deal. Yeah,
absolutely. And, unfortunately, that's still a prevalent thing, but, let's take it on a little bit lighter note. Gosh, I've had so much going on.
Yeah, how you been, man?
2020 is just... Can we just start over? Can we hit the reset button?
Ooh, no. I'm not. I would not want to be the one to ask that one.
Oh, man.
I kind of like things how it's going because it's putting the ones who were swept under the rug in the front line. Now they have a chance to shine.
Yeah. Well, we acknowledge, we move on, and hopefully I'll learn and grow some from it. But, we'll talk a little bit more about wrestling. So Clash of the Champions happened. And you weren't too happy with our boy, speaking of Roman Reigns. You messaged me during the week, and you said, that's just wrong. But
yeah, that was wrong. The way he beat the hell out of his cousin like that. And throughout the annals of time, I have never seen him at that aggression level against Brock Lesnar ever. So you'll jump on your family and beat the holy hell out of him, but Brock's sitting back here like, so
you
what?
You never fail to bring up Brock on every podcast. Is he giving you money?
Oh, no.
Is he funneling some money through?
Mine voluntarily.
Because if he's using our podcast for publicity, I need to know these things because I need some money in my pocket. Roman, yeah, that was pretty shocking. And then the fact that I didn't think they'd do a rematch this quick. Now that they've announced it for Hell in the Cell. So how bad will that get?
I think that's where you might see Brock come in. Brock will be the one to shake things up because, let's face it, Roman hasn't had a clear-cut, decisive win over Brock Lesnar ever. Even when he did win, it wasn't all that. It was some kind of discrepancy here or there. Brock is the one that Roman has to beat decisively with that fury that he had against Jay. If he does that to Brock, then yeah, I will acknowledge you, Roman.
So what happens if that's exactly what happens? If they were to bring Brock back and he gets a clear-cut, decisive, definitive, I want to see what happens with Paul Heyman if that happens. Where does he go? Whose side is he going to be on?
Now that's a good one.
Yeah,
because no matter how you stack the deck on that one, Paul Heyman is going to be the one who helps Brock defeat Roman. I don't see an on-screen tight relationship between Roman and Heyman as I do with Brock and Heyman.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? He's like, he wants to anoint him as the tribal chief, and Roman cuts him off and says, no, Jay has to, I want Jay to say it. So they have kind of a weird relationship. It's almost like Heyman's afraid of Roman or something. It's odd.
Or that's the swerve.
It could be. I mean,
we saw this before when Kevin Nash won the title in WCW and the finger poke of doom.
I can't find any Brock news lately. I wonder what's going on.
That's going to be something hush hush until maybe Hell in a Cell. We're coming up on Survivor Series after that, right?
Yeah, that's
one
the
of
next,
those two pay-per-views is going to be the one.
I think it'll be that big one. If he makes a move, it's going to be Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. But now you got this rumor that The Rock is going to be involved with WrestleMania.
WrestleMania?
Yes.
The Rock.
They various sources, you can Google them.
Okay.
This is not something I'm pulling out of thin air. But I keep getting this buzz that The Rock is going to come back to try to put Roman in his place. Now that would be fun. I don't know if it's going to happen. I see always when somebody brings The Rock up in the news, it's always like, well, what's his Hollywood schedule like?
Right.
Because you've got to fit that in, squeeze that in somewhere. And I know there was a lot of talk about insurance and Hollywood, but think about this for a second though. And I know I'm kind of going but I just thought of this. Hollywood's not really cranked up right now because of COVID.
No, they aren't.
I mean, they're making some movies, but like they're kind of limited in where they can go and what they can do. So I'm just wondering if Rock's going to have like spare few months, say around the time of Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, maybe.
I think
that would be interesting. Like if Roman wants to call himself the Tribal Chief, look who the Tribal Chief really is. I mean, you got to say it's Rocky because I mean he's been providing for. He's providing that movie money for the family and stuff too,
Roman, I think he can beat The Rock. I think he can beat The Rock on the count that if he assembles a team, and it's got to be family. It's got to be the Usos. Tamina's got to be involved. Nia Jax's got to be involved. Everybody from the core has got to come and show The Rock that, hey, we acknowledge him.
So
then you'll have a decent match. If you have a match at all, because I believe The Rock will walk away.
So we're going to fight first and then we're going to unite again?
Or Brock can take them all out at one time.
Oh, man.
No matter what, no matter how you slice this
go ahead. No, I want you to finish your thought.
this. Vince McMahon is not going to let Roman run roughshod over the whole WWE talking about Samoan dynasty. I'm sorry, it ain't going to happen. Because if you do the homework behind it, it's the difference between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter without the personal undertow. The Samoans.
You went political.
No, I didn't mean to go political. I really didn't. I mean, the Samoans were looking out for everybody.
No, they're going to look out for themselves.
But they're not going to take a big initiative and pick it and come out with signs.
No. I didn't take it like that. No.
I kind of did. Well, Jay coming back to even talk to Roman. Roman should have went to him because Roman took it 2 steps further than what it was supposed to go. If you're going to beat the hell out of your cousin, well, why is Brock running around?
Here's what I see. Okay, I'm going to get back to Brock. Now, let me loop back around.
Okay.
But let me finish this thought while it's in my head. It's interesting to me that now that we have bad guy Roman, he's doing these bad things, but he's still trying to act like the good guy in all of it. Like, hey, I gave you, Jay, I gave you this match. I'm trying to help you, you know. I'm trying to help the family. You did me wrong. You hurt my feelings, you know. That's what I thought was so funny about it on Friday night.
Sounds like somebody took a page out of Randy Orton's book.
Yeah.
Because that's Randy Orton when he was beating up Beth Phoenix and Christian. That was hilarious.
That's the M.O. Oh, Randy Orton. Randy Orton with night goggles on Monday. I was expecting some payback. I was like, there's no way that they're gonna let these 4 guys sit around and play cards with Randy Orton stalking around, but
they were playing cards.
Yeah.
Without the Acolyte Protection Agency.
There you go. That's what we needed. We needed Ron and JBL right there standing by the door so Randy couldn't get in.
Damn! Why'd they let that happen to him?
With his night vision goggles.
Hey, I think Randy's killing it. Randy is killing it with his character.
I think Randy Orton is the best. If he's not the best wrestler in the world right now, he's certainly the best heel, the best bad guy, for sure.
He needs a finisher.
He's incredible. What?
He needs a submission finisher.
Why the RKO and the punt seem to work pretty good.
We've seen that for years. I want to see him coil up on somebody and get like a chokehold or perhaps even a figure 4 style or reverse Indian deathlock. I'd like to see him like get technical on the ground.
You just want to
for just a little bit and boom.
You just want a new move.
Oh yeah. So does all the fans. So does all the fans with AEW.
Here's another one for you that happened Friday as we were going through our wrestling watch. How about Alexa Bliss and The Fiend?
Oh.
Did you see that?
Yes.
And I think I owe you an apology. So I kind of fussed at you on Friday. And I said, I just don't see this whole new Wyatt family thing, but you know what? I'm starting to see it. I think I've seen the light, Will.
The one thing that has to happen now is Braun Strowman's total dominance on Raw Underground.
I have let him in.
Yep.
Here's what I saw. Not only did I see my girl, Alexa, join hands with The Fiend, but during the KO show, he kept mentioning what is wrong with Aleister Black. What if this goes far beyond brands and The Fiend's whole reach is out there throughout the entire WWE? Or during the draft, maybe we bring Aleister Black into SmackDown or The Fiend on Raw. I think, no, I take that back. Fiend's not going to Raw. You know why? Fox.
Exactly.
Yeah. Need that Fox money.
Exactly.
So they're not going to take one of their hottest acts. Roman and The Fiend are probably safe. Braun may move to... I could see Braun and Aleister moving to SmackDown and maybe AJ or somebody like...
I see AJ going to NXT. Reforming the Bullet Club.
AJ going... No, AJ's going to go... If he moves, he's going to go to Raw.
Nah.
Would he take NXT as a demotion?
No,
Why?
because you didn't.
Who's there? I didn't watch. I admit my Wednesday got tied up. I know Moxley beat the Butcher on AEW. I didn't see NXT. Though 31's coming up on Sunday, which is the day after we tape this show. By the time you hear it, it'll probably be over. But TakeOver doesn't disappoint at all. I always love the TakeOvers.
Never.
They're
And
always
that's part
good
of the
shows.
reason why I say the Retribution leader. It's Triple H.
Now, see,
Triple H.
2 weeks ago, you dogged me on here and said, no, there's no way it can be Triple H.
But when I brought you Seth Rollins, and then I thought, wait a second, Seth Rollins, he's Triple H's boy.
What? Well, was.
No, still is. That
I'm
ain't
sure,
nothing of that happened.
Oh, I mean, now, personally, behind the scenes, they're probably, I'm sure they're in pretty lockstep,
Now, here's another
Triple H
one.
has got a lot of friends.
And he's got a lot of friends in positions that could be influenced by the greasing of the palms with some money to have some things done.
I would
to
still
turn their head when certain things go around. To have certain people come through the back door and look away. Yeah, that sounds like Triple H. That also sounds like culprit number 2 it could possibly be, that would set up an ultimate showdown that we talked about this year at WrestleMania involving The Undertaker and Sting being the leader of Retribution.
We talked about this a little off air. I'm hesitant about Sting with anything. I know Taker turned down that match a few times. I know Sting still wants it. My concern would be, this is 2020 now. We're talking about when Sting came in like 2015, I was still intrigued by it, but 5 years later, and Sting's, 61 now?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm not saying he can't do it, but I don't know what his... If that neck injury was bad enough to take him out of wrestling, and he hasn't been back since, then is he healthy enough to have one match? Taker could probably suck it up and have one more.
Right.
But I'm not sure what Sting's condition is.
That's why, that injury could be kayfabe within itself because he has had no matches to substantiate the fact that he was injured after that.
No, I'm pretty sure that was not kayfabe, not a kayfabe injury.
But say Undertaker goes like Renegade again, American Badass, because Retribution.
I would almost like to see
too many
that.
fires within the WWE.
Yeah.
And Vince, Taker, you've got to help us out, man. Well, you got to help us. And something is not, clicking in Taker's head. Why would I help you? You throw me into another contract for the next 15 years. Why would I help you?
I don't like the storyline because did you see all the heat that T-Bar was getting on Twitter about
T-Bar?
Oh, they couldn't. Yeah, T-Bar. Let's see, which one is T-Bar? That's not
Dijakovic? Yeah.
It's Dijakovic, isn't it? So he said, well, they had to give us contracts, because otherwise, we're going to run roughshod over everything, but that's not going to stop us from running roughshod. And Chris Jericho's like, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I think this whole time that
Jericho's hilarious. I don't care what
Jericho's
company he's in.
He's the man. But this 2-week period that they're in quarantine, I really believe that you will see the leader of Retribution come out. And I'm leaning towards Triple H.
There needs to be a leader.
Triple H is Sting.
I can't see the storyline working without a leader.
Right.
Because, everybody knows who the main 5 NXT people are.
Right.
They're pooping all over their names, the new names, and you've invested, like I was saying when we did the Retribution episode, and they've invested all this time. So you can't just let it. You can't let it falter. You can't let it go. There's got to be a payoff here. Otherwise, it's just going to be a colossal waste of money.
It's never a waste when you're dealing with that family, because they can pick it back up like they did the NWO.
Oh, I'm sure.
and make it something. And
I'm hoping there's more. I'm hoping there's more to it. I really do. Raw needs something.
Have you seen this game called WWE Immortals?
We talked about the Immortals game.
Yeah.
And storylines that came from that.
Exactly. I think that they're trying to set everything up just like the game.
Why are storylines in the video games more interesting than the ones on television? That's the problem.
I guess when people can.
If you're going to hire writers, let's get the writers from the video games.
Exactly.
Over.
Or me. I'll write for WWE and I'll have you some great programming. Man.
And then Cornette will get on his podcast and say, "Oh God, they done hired video game writers on WWE. Oh man, that's the drizzling." Well,
meanwhile, while he collects a paycheck, yeah, I mean,
hey, he's pulling down numbers. Cornette's collectibles.
If you can do it, do it. I mean, I guess this is like my personal resume to the WWE. If you need help writing some stories, hey, come holler at me. I got you.
Okay, Will has officially submitted his application.
Oh, wow.
You can reach him. Maybe we'll post it on Indeed or something. But you can reach him at willandwilliscast@gmail.com. We'll be waiting to hear from you, Hunter or Vince.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna have y'all put money down south in your pockets.
Day or night.
Oh, speaking of that, how come Stephanie and Triple H sold off the majority of their stock in WWE? I mean, big money, like 14.
I gotta look at that story again.
That's what brought me to think, and I'm like, if they're selling off their stock. Shane and Vince haven't.
I think it's just I don't know how that affects their position in the company necessarily, but that selling it off, lines their pockets, I guess.
Right. Personally, do they know that WWE is going to take a crash?
I can't remember when they sold that stuff, but I know that. Yeah, I know the market's down right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really down.
I'm the next
peaked.
JBL.
They peaked. Now. Fact check me if I'm wrong here. I want to say, because I have a buddy that's got WWE stock, I want to say it started out really low, like 15 or something. You could get it like dirt cheap, and then all of a sudden, like it peaked at 70.
Now it's like at 45.
And now it's like 40. Yeah. So it may just be time for a sell off just to recoup,
Yeah.
Before you suffer any further losses.
I mean, you familiar with the J curves and all that stuff on the graphs when they're. How things.
I'm not an economist, but
yeah, I got suckered in buying.
I don't play that. I don't really play the market because I don't have much of a portfolio. I'm hoping to expand it. That's why we're here.
Yeah, we're gonna expand in
advertisements,
wrestling.
All right, so
cover that. Do you remember the Skywalker scaffold match?
Yes.
Midnight Express, Road Warriors.
Is that where you want to go? You want to talk about Warriors now?
I was thinking about that on the way up here.
That was that was the one. Not where I took notice. That's not where I first took notice. But that was the first big real profile match that I remember. Do you remember the promos for that?
Oh yeah.
They're throwing the pumpkins off the scaffold.
Yes.
Hey, beautiful Bobby, this is what your head's going to look like when it hits the ground.
Tell him, Paul.
Tell him, Paul. Oh, man. And it was like...
I remember my dad cut my ass one time. The Road Warriors came out there cutting their promo, and I ran in the bathroom and got my mom's makeup.
You painted your face like the Road Warriors?
Yes. Talking about what a rush.
Here's something personal. I was 14 and I was at this camp. It's called Camp Windshape. And it's like a boys camp. Like you got to cross like a lake to go over to the girls' part because they don't want a bunch of horny little teenagers running over there around the girls. So it was supposed to be like like Indian theme. We were supposed to dress like up in war paint and stuff like that.
Right.
And
The Ultimate War.
me and my buddy drew our faces up with Road Warrior design. So, and we're sitting around it's basically like a tribal council. They're looking at our faces like, what are y'all supposed to be?
They're the precursor to the Uso.
It was a great time to be alive.
Yes, it was.
Man, memories of the Warriors. I always grew up with like Crockett Promotions and the NWA in this area. And then one night, we had some broke periods in our life, so I didn't have cable. So I went over to my buddy Mike's house, and he had ESPN. And we're like, we're doing the hangout, sleepover thing, and he's got ESPN on, and they're showing like the AWA, late at night or whatever. I don't know if it was a replay or whatever. And there's the Road Warriors, who I'd just seen at 6:05
on TBS.
defending the AWA Tag Championships against the Freebirds. Little did I know what Paul Ellering's business model was, to take them from territory to territory, not stick them in one place until late 88 or 87, 88, when the territories started disappearing and stuff like that. And then they were pretty much exclusive to Crockett and WCW until they made the WWF jump.
I think what we're seeing in the wrestling world is a going back to the territories style.
A little bit, maybe.
Everything under the WWE umbrella is way too much for them to handle, even with the board of directors.
Well, now they're going to take control of your TikTok, from what I understand.
Oh!
You said that? You saw that story?
Today was the cutoff date.
Yeah, we'll get back to the Warriors in a minute.
If you have a Twitch or Cameo account,
yeah, Twitch, Cameo,
you have to take it. Well, it's becoming WWE.
They're going to run it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they're going to run how much money?
We're gonna run it for you, and then, however, we'll take a chunk of that too. Thank you very much. I think that's why Paige has her real name on her. Oh,
they're already double stabbing her.
Yeah.
If you want to have two different accounts, we're gonna hit you.
Yeah, we're gonna hit you double time. Man.
But man, that's crazy. I mean, because you would think you got these professional wrestlers busting their asses every day, 5, 6, 7 days a week.
Well, here you go with that WWE business model of, you're independent contractors, so we don't have to give you insurance, but you're under contract, so you can't do this and you can't do that.
And you can't supplement your money.
Yeah.
That sounds like indentured servitude.
It's bad. I don't like it. I think these guys, especially, you've got some top tier guys that are making good money. And then you've got guys that probably,
they need to do that to make some ends meet.
I heard at one point Jack Swagger was making like $80,000 a year.
I heard the same thing. I heard Xavier Woods was making something like that.
Yeah, that's not big money when you have to pay for your expenses and travel and all that kind of stuff. It sounds like a lot of money, but you take taxes out of that.
You better down about 65, 70.
No, you're probably more down like that tax bracket. You're probably more down like 55. I'd have to check with my wife. She's a tax preparer.
21%.
But I think you're up at like in the 30s at that point. If you're at $80,000,
wow.
Yeah, I think you're like in the 30s.
And they send you this false sense of being broke.
That's not. Jericho was complaining about 150 in his book in WCW. It said that it sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not.
Wow.
$80,000 for Swagger? He's got to be making
at least $250,000.
Yeah, he's got to be making 4 or 5 times that at AEW. He has to.
I'd say about $250,000.
Tony Khan's putting out some money, whether it works or not. But
it's oil money. He can do that.
Yeah, he's or it's called Daddy.
Yeah, we can open up a promotion.
We could if we want to go broke.
No. we can have cakewalks and like festivals and stuff. And raise money. Sell Dunkin' Donuts.
Do you want to put this in the middle of the middle of the segment? We kind of got away from the Road Warriors for a minute, but I got a question. I got a Q&A question.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
Jay Odie, this guy I know, is
he's not related to Garfield, is he?
No, not that.
Oh.
O-D-Y, not O-D-I-E. He asked me on Facebook, he said, so if you woke up tomorrow with unlimited funds, name 5 men and 5 women that you would put in your promotion. However, they can't be currently working for WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, or Impact. Now that narrows the field.
Well, it still didn't hit the one I was. 5 guys who I'd pick up?
Yeah, you can answer this one. We'll both take a stab at it.
Okay. I'm going to start with the females first.
As well you should.
Ladies first. Yeah, she's right. Exactly right.
Ladies first.
Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah. Probably so, if we could temper her attitude.
The girl from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Tainara Conti.
Uh-huh.
Xia Li. The Chinese girl.
Didn't Taya just sign?
That's right. She signed to AEW. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Tessa Blanchard is a gimme.
You've got
Melina.
You've got to put her on a roster.
Melina's not. She's not signed yet.
Who I heard was going, but so far nothing. So she's still a free agent.
She's going to sign if she hasn't already signed.
Yeah. Meltzer's
not going to tell anybody. Because he's probably the only person that knows yay or nay, and if it got out, Vince will know it leaked through him.
Uncle Dave.
Women. All my favorites.
Well, you're struggling with this like I am.
Naomi, but she's over at WWE. Oh man.
Would you hire the other Funkadactyl that's not
Cameron?
there anymore? Yeah.
This might sound kind of crazy, but it's too late in the year.
Too late.
It's too late in the year for her.
See, the 2 that I would have picked have already, besides Ty Conti, I would have picked Serena Deeb, but she signed also.
She signed with...
I'm pretty sure AEW just signed her too.
Oh, wow.
They're signing up everyone. Everyone I would have picked.
Does this have to do with present wrestlers? Could it go past?
I think it's like if we started it today.
If we started it today?
Yeah.
Because I know back in the day...
Oh, now the past, I could,
Leilani Kai in
easily,
a minute.
Yeah.
In a minute. Judy Martin.
You could make them managers.
Oh, yeah.
My love for Judy Martin knows no bounds because of how many... at the 2006 Fan Fest, she hooked me up so much, like took me around and introduced me to all these people.
Really?
DiBiase, Paul Orndorff. Cool. I mean, she was introduced. Anybody she knew, say, hey, this is Jason. He works for blah, blah. I think I was working for CWA at the time.
Right.
So it was cool.
DiBiase is a trip.
Man. Okay, 5 guys. Here we go. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I want John Schuyler. I want Billy Brash. I want the other kid. Hang on. I don't remember his name. I want Brady Pierce. I want who do I want? See, I'm not sure if Anthony Henry was in Evolve signed. He's a good talent. Because if he was part of that package, then he might be in WWE developmental right now. So many people.
Cheerleader
Melissa.
Yes.
For the females, yeah. I'll take her and Tyler Valkyrie. Then we can get a package deal.
Yep. As soon as you said that, now I realized I'm not limited to just the professional. I can go back to the locals. Oh man.
No. That's probably where you're going to have to pick from.
Oh, the END all day long.
Yeah.
END.
You could pick from locals. You can pick from any independent, really. It's just you can't pick from the top 4. Well, hey, we can go to Japan now.
Oh,
if they're not signed over.
The Great Muta. I pulled him just for publicity.
I'll probably make him my booker. Yeah.
Oh man, Tajiri.
I probably get Will Ospreay.
Yes, that's who his name was.
And I want Kenta for sure. Did I name 5 already? I'm not even keeping up. I apologize to J.O.D. because I'm not keeping up with this question well.
Not to be confused with peyote.
No. Stop it.
My brother would say something like that.
He's Bobby Heenan on me. Will you stop?
Will you stop?
Will you please stop? So, all right. So for women, we had Tessa. We had cheerleader Melissa. I don't think Taya's with Impact anymore. So if she's a free agent, she's on the list.
Oh no, she's with NXT. I was about to say
Shotzi.
Anybody?
I had to do some research on your girl, by the way. I kind of like that mini tank. That was good. No, I watched her old introductory promo. I didn't know. No, I didn't. Well, you've told me about her, and I didn't know that much about her.
She was a riot, man. I was like,
she's wild, but I like her. I
hope they don't mess her over.
I like her. I really like Rhea Ripley right now. And Bianca Belair. I like. See, if they weren't in NXT, that's 3 right there.
Bianca.
Yeah.
Bianca. Man, she's...
Who's the young lady that's in the Carolina Independent? Savannah Evans? I think I would pick her up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Or Molly Holly.
Oh, Molly Holly gets... Yeah. I think if Molly Holly is not actively wrestling, I pick her up for to head my women's division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she'd be the manager of some behemoth.
But wasn't she on? Didn't she show up in a battle royal?
She was up in the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. Yeah. That's what happened.
Last year's Rumble.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
She grew her hair out too, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't always bald. She made me realize bald was sexy, though.
Hey. Next time on Fetish R Us.
When she came up to Music Farm that time. Dear Penthouse Forum.
Oh wow.
Man, we're 38 minutes in. We gotta get on the Road Warriors if we're gonna talk about them.
The Road Warriors.
What,
they say is arguably the best tag team of all time.
The only one that argues is you.
Yeah, because I say Steiner Brothers.
I say you're wrong, but
Future Shock, Starrcade. Who won that tournament?
It doesn't matter.
Who won that tournament?
Who has more championships?
They're equal.
Warriors.
They're equal.
No, they're not. Steiners were never in the AWA.
They weren't?
No. Scott was in Memphis until '89. They weren't even a team until '89, or late '88, or late '88. Might have been '88.
I'm gonna Google that one.
You Google it.
The Steiner brothers did beat the Road Warriors, right?
I know they did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh.
One match isn't.
Oh.
See, when you talk about tag teams, here's my thing. So once Scotty goes Big Papa Pump, see, that's a whole different dynamic.
He slams you, he throws you up in the air and don't care how you land.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole...
Oh, man, that is crazy.
It says they debuted in 1989.
That was the beginning of 89, about...
It had
February.
to be because by the end of the year you're at Starrcade, and that was December, I think. They had started moving them away from Thanksgiving and started doing them in December.
Christmas, because what you call it? They had the Survivor Series in the
right. The Road Warriors, man, are you kidding me?
I remember the Road Warriors used to beat your ass by the time Ozzy Osbourne starts singing Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, before he even did.
By the time you hear the... If you turn, and if you did catch a glimpse of them running to the ring to beat whoever's in the ring's asses, you saw a beat down, and then by the time the singing started, the match was over.
I'm so glad they got out of that original. Did you see the 1983 original gimmick with the denim and they look like the
Village
people? Yeah. Big, huge Village People guys.
Oh, kind of stuff that you
Thank
see.
you for making those shoulder pads, Animal. That was
Oh,
great.
wow. Spikes. Bigger spikes.
Big spikes, yeah. So I need some 6-inch spikes, and I need some 4-inch spikes, and I need some 2-inch spikes.
I was thinking about this, and it just hit me. Triple H has got to be the leader of Retribution.
Focus. All right, go ahead. We'll go back. All right.
Seth Rollins is going to be without a belt for a little minute. And that's BS.
So
He does not go long without a belt.
Seth Rollins is going to be taking paternity leaves.
Oh.
As well.
Oh. Now imagine.
See, that's where I think they're going with this thing. Buddy Murphy's going to flip, and he's going to take Rollins out for a little while. He can go home and be baby daddy, and then he'll come back.
I got one for you.
What?
He finds out that the child is not his. That's going to send him into a tailspin, and he will beat the hell out of Roman because of it.
Oh, God.
Universal title. Now that whole angle, as far as people watching,
Well, that would get hit.
that would be.
That would turn it right around on
What?
him, since he's accusing, Ray's daughter of not being Ray. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Now they're talking about Aaliyah is not. Boy, did she grow up fast in a couple of weeks. Is it my imagination? Or
No. She filled out real nice.
if you didn't watch, she's in a tighter shirt and almost these leather pants. It's like, remember she's 19. Remember she's 19. Perfectly legal, but she's 19. That's another sore point of controversy with this storyline. Like Buddy Murphy's like in his mid-30s or something, like early 30s.
Yeah. But that's
She's too young.
But what about the king?
See, nobody.
The king likes puppies.
See,
man.
nobody will go back to the Attitude Era. Oh gosh, how much how much older was he than Stacey Carter? A lot.
Exactly.
A lot.
I mean, that's the end thing these days. Get yourself a young wife.
Catherine Zeta-Jones and
Boy,
Michael,
stop that.
Douglas
Ooh.
people.
No, Eva Longoria. Oh, Lord. No, I got off the subject from there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I was
That's
like,
all right.
wow.
We did. We both did. We started talking about Retribution again. We were supposed to be talking about the Road Warriors.
Sorry, Hawk. I'm
and
sorry,
Animal.
man.
The Road Warriors.
I can say this. If they both were here and in wrestling condition, we wouldn't have a Retribution problem. We wouldn't have a Seth Rollins problem.
Oh, no. I think the Warriors would be taking care of business.
Yeah, but I think they would finally close the gap between the United States and Russia and tag with Nikita to handle it.
Well, didn't they during War Games? Some of the War Games matches?
Oh,
When the
Sting,
Superpowers?
Nikita, and the Road
yeah,
Warriors
yeah.
against the Horsemen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, before the Warriors flipped again, they beat the dog out of the Midnight Express for the belts,
Yup.
and then stabbed Dusty in the eye and
Oh, how about the Warlord and the Barbarian?
powers. Oh, somebody just sent me that on Facebook. The bench press.
Oh, and
contest.
cracked him in his face with the
Yeah. Somebody had just sent it to me.
blasted
I
the
was
paint
like,
off his face.
I was like, okay, either he knew I was going to talk about the Road Warriors today, or he just happened to think I would like it or something. But yeah, sent me that clip.
Oh, that was awesome, man.
Over Facebook.
I remember when I was a kid, I was like, man, that's not fair. It was a big-time mark at the time. But I couldn't differentiate kayfabe and real, and I used to write little stories in class about wrestlers getting hurt and beat, and my teachers used to think I was crazy.
Now, Barbarian had some paint, but did you notice, like, okay, we've got Demolition, right? We can't get the Road Warriors, so let's get the Powers of Pain, and we'll paint the Warlord up too. So now you have kind of a Road Warriors ripoff versus a Road Warriors ripoff, and then the LOD finally came and whipped off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Well, Often imitated, never duplicated.
Paul Ellering.
Precious Paul.
Do you remember when he was wrestling? He was a beast too.
He wasn't as tall as Hawker Animal, but man, you talk about muscled up dude. Yeah.
I remember that was the first time I saw him. I was like, Precious Paul Ellering. He was wearing leopard skin tights, and I was like, this dude is ripped.
Yeah, I was like, they put Paul in there in some of those war game matches, and he had a shirt off. I was like, holy crap, that guy's big. And see that back then, I didn't know he used to be a wrestler.
Oh, I remember his debut. I remember Ted DiBiase's debut on World Championship Wrestling, Tito Santana, and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. It was like they all hit around the same time, and I never forget it.
He had that, when they debuted, he had that crazy blonde thing going. I thought he was like one of the Valiant brothers or something when he first started managing the
Boogie Woogie Man. Precious Paul.
He finally went au naturel after a while.
Man, it seems like the whole wrestling world is just like hung up something. I mean, the death of Animal, to me, I guess being John Laurenitis' brother, who's the director of talent relations and whatnot, I mean, I think the whole world is like in mourning, because
I'm still a little bit. I mean, it's like it's been a little week and a half. It still upsets me.
Because you see like these new up and coming teams, and they're big, bad, and brutal, but I'd like to show my son, he's coming up now, and like, hey, this was what was in my time. And they're not there. And
guys like that didn't just walk down the street every day. They're kind of a special breed.
Yeah.
I didn't know Animal had been a bouncer at First Avenue in Minneapolis.
I would never go to that bar.
Really?
No, that's it. Cause see,
and Prince played there. That's why I would only want to go.
Back in the day, when I was hanging out with my crew, we were looking for trouble. I mean, that was dumb, but we were looking for trouble. Mm-hmm. And then I heard the stories about Roy Hawk and Animal bouncing. Oh no, that'd be the one that I do not frequent.
No. You wouldn't want to be there, or Grandma B's, what used to be Grandma B's, or anywhere those guys were. I'm sure they probably worked in some rough places. And remember the story about the wire? There was some kind of wire outside or something like that, and they see how far they could throw the guy over the wire, past the wire. I saw that on Dark Side of the Ring, and
I heard
and the Road Warrior documentary.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There was something about there's something out there, a wire or a rope or something they threw they tried to see how far they could throw them over it. And I was like, wow, that's nuts.
And this is, you've got Ravishing Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Nikita Koloff, they all
that
around
Minnesota area.
That's that crew there.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, Barry Darso.
That's Demolition and Repo Man.
Smash, yeah, and Repo Man, yeah.
I got a story about him up in Utica, New York. My dad was stationed up there. We were watching the live show and everything. And you had these two guys sitting down here with the tag team titles. And I'm like, thinking to myself, who's these guys? And my friend's asking me, hey, yo, you want to get your autograph taken with Demolition? What Demolition at? She goes, right there. And I'm like, man, that ain't no Demolition. They're preliminary dudes, man.
Makeup off and everything.
And Axe, I believe it was Axe, stuck his tongue out, and I'm like, oh, then I put the paint in my head, in his face in my head, and I'm like, oh, snap. I'm running out. You might want to squash me.
Because Bill Eadie was Masked Superstar.
Masked Superstar, yeah.
For so many years, and I didn't know what he looked like without the mask, so when he showed up as Axe, it's like, well, I knew who Barry Darso was.
Right.
Because that was Crusher Khrushchev.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's Crusher doing over here,
Didn't he win on the Starrcade 85?
The one you were watching.
Yeah.
Championship.
Beat Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Right.
Yeah.
And that didn't have a rushing accent.
Not at all. No.
Was he like Rob Conway, a sympathizer?
Man, he sounded so. He didn't even sound like he was from Minnesota. He sounded like he was from Georgia. So country.
I heard William Regal is from Macon, Georgia.
Maybe he lives there now. Come on, that accent can't be fake now. Surely not.
He sounds like Dudley Moore.
No way. Well, yeah, now.
I mean, he sounds like Dudley Moore. That's like perfect British accent. But somebody told me he was from Georgia, and I'm like, you know what? I could believe that.
I think maybe he lives in Georgia now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them do. They live in Georgia or Florida area.
No. Why there?
To the south, huh?
Why there?
I think Florida, just for like, especially if you've been in WWE, the Performance Center is down there. It's easy to access if you want to work out, or if they ever need you for TV for some Legends thing or something like that. I mean, that's my guess.
I was figuring. I mean, that's Dusty's there.
I don't know where Impact does anything now. I know they used to be down there in Orlando. So they were filming at Universal, but now that they've gone to Impact and under the Anthem banner or whatever that company that bought them, I don't know where they do their shows now.
Wow. We did say something about the Freebirds.
The only thing I said about the
Warriors.
Freebirds was, I saw that match, or when I was very
Do you know
young.
something? Everybody who's had a victory over the Road Warriors were legitimate and they could carry the title on their own. I can believe the Russians beating the Road Warriors.
Well, I mean, if you beat them, you were made.
Yeah.
Because they didn't lose much.
Nope. But I never see Sting and Luger beat them. Because when they fought,
I don't think they did.
Yeah, they did. It was.
I don't think they ever beat them. Is what I'm saying.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because it was always a disqualification. Nikita Koloff interfering.
They what was the other one? Didn't they have to do? Did they ever beat the Skyscrapers clean?
No.
Because I know, but that was Jim Hurd. He was in love with Sid for some reason.
Man, Sid was the goods, man. I mean, back in the day.
Yeah.
And he had a good mind for the business. Now, I've heard some stories, but
but there's some stories.
I hate hearing stories that are out of line about my, favorites coming up.
Your good friend Sid. You want to hear a Sid? How long are we going to run today? Do you want to hear a Sid Vicious story?
Yeah, let me know something.
You want to hear one?
Yes. Yeah, I would. I'd love to hear it.
I don't know if you know this. I managed Hans Baumgartner against Sid in 2010, I believe it was.
This is after the leg break.
Oh, it was way after.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already recovered by then. Yeah, the leg break was 2001.
That was horrific.
Yeah, he was. That was. Oh, what was that? Was it WCW Sin? Was that pay-per-view?
Mayhem.
Or is it Mayhem?
I think it was Mayhem pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Or you're right, Sin.
Or
no, New Blood.
No, I don't think it was New Blood Rising.
Because
by the end, they were having all these like 7 Deadly Sin pay-per-views, like Sin and Greed and all that stuff.
Yes.
And I know it was January, wasn't it? 2001. Will's going to the Google machine.
Okay, let me check that.
But my story about my good friend Sid
is
he was booked for OSCW to come in and wrestle Hans, who had the OSCW's version of the Universal Championship. And like, we all knew Sid's reputation, right? And not a lot of people were really talking to him. And I'm like, I feel like I should go talk to this guy because, like, I'm going to be out there, with him. And so I went over and I started talking to Sid, and we were getting along like spectacularly. Like, I asked him about ECW, and remember he had Judge Jones with him and everything, and he acted like that was a great time, and so they're just rapping about wrestling and stuff. And then he saw Asylum, and he goes, man, you need to manage some real big guys. And I said, well, you know, Hans is pretty big. He said, no, bigger. He said, you need to go bigger.
What?
He saw Asylum come through the curtain. He goes, that's him. I said, that's the guy you need to manage right there. And I said, well, yeah, I said, there's been discussions about it, but nothing ever really got finalized. He goes, you take him on the road, go everywhere you can. That's $1 million act. I was like, well, okay, you know, like that. But anyway, I'm getting to the point of the story. So later, I just want to tell you how quirky Sid can be. So I realize I haven't said much to any of the other boys. I've been talking to Sid for a while. So I go into where is that? The Omar Shrine Temple. There's like several different rooms. That's where we're holding the show in Mount Pleasant. So there's all these. We had put up a curtain to block, you know, where everybody dresses, and then there's like several different rooms. So I go into this other room, and there's some of the boys, and I'm talking to them and stuff like that, and then this silence happens. I turn around, and there's Sid, and it's like, kind of looks around for a second, and he goes, guys, you ever get a hankering for Taco Bell at 2 a.m.? And I'm serious as a heart attack. And I'm looking around like, that's maybe the oddest question I've ever heard from like a big time wrestler. And I'm like, and it's like, yeah, Sid, you know, I like Taco Bell. You know, you like Taco Bell, guys? Oh yeah. You know. So
wow.
So anyway, you know, so I go back, you know, and then I go back over. I said, well, maybe he's lonely, so I go back over and talk to him for a little while. And then it's, you know, it's match time and it's go time. And I will never forget the promo I cut on him. I said, this was pretty much the punchline. I said, you know, I'm not afraid of somebody who ran from RoboCop. And his look came on his face like like I wish we were on video right now so I could so he hauled back and slapped me, and I thought he was going to take my head off, and really it was one of the nicer slaps I've ever received. Like he didn't hurt me at all. Like maybe he cupped his hand to protect me or something.
Make the sound.
Yeah. And I was like, and I was sitting there, and I know I had this shocked look on my face, and everybody's probably thinking, oh, great sell, right? I was shocked that it didn't hurt. Like, I thought he was going to kill me, you know, after that RoboCop line. And he even, you know, and I was doing the racket thing just like Cornette. You know, he fed for the racket. Fed for it.
Really?
Yeah. He said, he's going to back me up into the ropes. He goes, well, I backs in the ropes. You nailed me with that thing. So, wham, right? Whoa. Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Sid versus Hans. Look it up.
That's a trip.
He fed for the racket. Now wait, here's where it gets strange. So I had Solitude. We were doing this crazy storyline where we'd bought Solitude's contract and we were forcing him to do crap he didn't want to do. So he's playing bodyguard and all this stuff. And at a couple points in the match, he would get in front of Sid if Sid tried to mess with me or something like that. So we go to the back. And now my buddy Sid looks really upset. And I said, you know, I thought, oh, God, I got him with the racket, you know. Like, maybe I hurt him, you know, maybe I hit him with the wood part or something. You know? And I said, hey, Sid, is everything okay? No, brother, you were great. You absolutely great out there. He goes, but I need to talk to that guy I wrestled, and where's the promoter? I was like, oh, what's going on? So apparently, he said that Hans had picked him up and body slammed him, and not flat, like on his shoulder, and could have popped his shoulder out of joint. And then he got mad at Joe, and then I kid you not, I thought Sid and Joe were going to go nose to forehead,
nose to chest.
Yeah, you know, we're really going to go at it. And then apparently, from what unbeknownst to me, while I was trying to be friendly with Sid, is like Sid was being real critical of some of the other matches, and some of the other guys heard it and didn't appreciate it. So as soon as he got in Joe's face, here come about 12 guys. And there's this giant circle around Sid. And Sid didn't have a squeegee or a knife or a pair of scissors. So
Oh, shit.
So Sid kind of backed down, and that's the first and last appearance of Sid Vicious you're ever going to see in OSCW. That's my Sid story.
I don't know. Broke leg or not, I don't think.
That's my Sid story.
I don't know. Broke leg or not, I don't think them dudes would have had a chance against Sid.
12 guys?
Dude.
One of them, now, one of them
Wardell
is...
Walker ain't involved with it. Yeah, I don't see anybody having a chance.
I don't know. Wardell might have been there.
If Wardell was there,
I don't know if he
then
was
it
there
would
that
happen.
night. I don't know.
Wardell wanted to kill
yeah.
Bulldog.
No, that's your boy Rick.
Yep. Rick Dreamer.
No, Rick Steiner.
On the video, yeah. Oh.
I was there for the rematch.
Ooh, that was.
Maybe we'll talk about that next time.
Yes. I had fun. I mean,
I had a good time today.
I had to get some stuff off my chest about, the Road Warriors. I mean, that was like,
I miss,
if not number one, number two tag team that got me into the business.
I miss Hawk and Animal so much, and just from me, wherever you are, thank you for the memories and all the good times. I mean, just enjoyed watching those guys immensely. And
yes,
definitely one of the bigger influences in my career anyway, and just somebody that made me want to get into wrestling for sure.
If you two knew the magnitude of the effect that you've had on the wrestling world, I know that you've both been in a better place, but you wouldn't want to go if you knew who's been clinging on to you guys from day one. I still think the Steiner brothers can take you, but that's neither here nor there. What is though? But you two are the greatest of all time.
And that leads me to a poll. Go ahead and put on our Facebook page, who was the greatest tag team of all the time? Was it the Steiners? Was it the Road Warriors? Was it somebody else? There you go. We'll throw
nobody else.
We'll throw it out there.
And Tom Brady graduated from the University of Michigan.
Oh, gosh, you got Tom Brady.
You got Tom Brady, you got the Steiner brothers. Michigan's putting them out there, people.
And on that note, I think that's going to wrap it up for the latest edition of the Will and Willis podcast. So, Will, any final thoughts?
If at first you don't succeed, take a look at what you're doing, because you might not be doing the right thing. Seriously.
If at first you don't succeed, try till you get it right?
Yeah, you can be trying to get somebody else's girlfriend and
all right, for Jason Willis, that's Will Spann over there. I wish you could see his neck brace. You'll see it next week if we get on YouTube. From the Chameleons studio in Hanahan, South Carolina, thanks to our producer Sean Dolby. You can catch us on Facebook. It's the Will and Willis podcast page on Facebook, and also drop us a line, willandwilliscast@gmail.com. Until next week, everybody, this is Jason Willis saying so long for now.